Okay, game seekers, welcome to another client cast, and I am so excited to be having this client cast with none other than game seekers Latina Lightning Laura Hernandez. And I've had so much feedback on this transformation in particular. So I'm really, really excited to give people not my version of what's happened or not like, here's my coaching, but to give you actual insight into that journey, real and raw, with Laura. So, first of all, Laura, how are you doing and how's your day been?
Hello everyone. I'm okay, thank you. Just having a day off from work-ish. Yeah, all good. Very happy with everything, and yeah, just I don't know what else to say.
That's fine. That's perfect. Sounds good to me. And so, Laura, what we're going to do is we'll start. I'll get some pictures up in a minute so people who are watching this can see.
Yeah.
But I want to start at the beginning of the journey with you when you first reached out to me to begin working. Obviously, so people have an insight. I've known Laura for quite some long time. So we've been friends. I've been to shows that she's competed in. I've actually been on stage to actually be part of handing her a trophy. Right. So I have a good relationship with Laura anyway. But we've never ever discussed about working together in a coaching client capacity. So, I mean, if we cast our minds back to when you first reached out to me and you first began with me,
Mm.
and while you're talking, I'll get the pictures up. Give you as an insight into where were you at that stage of your life? Where were you mentally, physically, and what prompted you to actually think to yourself, do you know what? I want to see what me and Afsa can do together.
So when I reached out to you, I was at uni still. I was living in Wales, and I think I have just finished like a fat loss that I was doing myself, which was like I decided to like just coach myself back to health. And I wanted to do it on my own because I wanted to learn many things, but also because I didn't want to like not external pressure, but I was just like I'm just gonna do this on my own pace and everything. And
Yeah.
that's when I went from my heaviest to like a healthier weight. And I just kept seeing everything that you post online, all the transformation of your clients, the way you are so motivating, and the way you speak about life in general. I was like, I would like to join his team. And I know that I just kept joking, and I was like, oh yeah, I would love to just be part of it. Like we can take this, which was my last competition, this look to like the next level. And we just kept joking about it, and then we were like, no, let's actually do this for real. And I was mentally in a much better place than I was back in 2020. But still I wasn't in like the right place because uni was so stressful. And I was like, I can't keep coaching myself because I don't have like a, I don't know what was the word, but what I was seeing on my own check-ins and that, I was like, I don't know if I like this. I can't tell if I'm looking good. I can be bothered to program my own training. I'm eating what I can, to be honest. I wasn't having like a proper structure, and I was like, I need
Mhm.
somebody to take over. Um, and that's when basically I contacted you.
Yeah. So, I mean, you took the first step, which is obviously, you like you say, you weren't, especially during that pandemic sort of time, you kind of hit a bit of a rock bottom mentally with things that are going on in your life, a dark position. I actually remember speaking to you then, right, on and off. And I was very, very worried myself because I knew that for the time that I'd known you, you'd become so disconnected from the person that I knew. And I could tell that you were in this sort of dark position, but you took it upon yourself. This is what I always tell people is that, look, as difficult as it may be, when you're going through a dark stage of your life, a depressive stage of your life, I know it's very easy to stay there. I know it's very easy to get caught up in the worry. I know it's very easy to get caught up in depression. But the truth of the matter is, this is at a time where you need to kind of like be a best friend to yourself and take
Yeah.
positive action, no matter how hard that feels and how difficult that may be, and how much you don't want to do it. You're not going to be motivated to do it. Like, this is what people don't realize. You won't be motivated. But you took that first step and you started to get yourself into shape, right? And as we're talking about this, I'll bring up a video of you, kind of like what we would say,
Yeah.
kind of like at your worst shape, so clients, so viewers can get an understanding of where you're actually at. I'll get this up now, and we just have that playing in the background. And you know what it is, right? So that here we can see kind of like you at your sort of like in your worst shape here, right?
Yeah.
And then you come along to me. Now I've got to say, from my side, I was really, really excited at the prospect, because obviously, like, I've seen you on stage. I've seen
Yeah.
what you're capable of doing. I've always told you that I think you have great potential, and I know that you're a hard worker. So for me, it was like, wow, I got an opportunity to work here with somebody, one, that I have a great connection with, somebody two, I think has got really good potential, and somebody three here who I think, we can create something great together with. But
Yeah.
where you were when you first reached out to me, it was about none of that. It wasn't about like, let's do photo shoots, let's do competition, let's get into this shape, let's aim for this weight number. It was all about, let's just kind of get you back into a healthy position mentally and physically. And that's what a lot of people don't realize, is that for you, when we first began, there was no hard goal. There was no like, I need to get to this weight, or I need to get to this shape, or I need to do this competition, or I need to do a photo shoot. It was just like, I need to do something fucking positive for myself.
Yes. Yes. I mean, it was the last 3 4 years were really bad because when the whole pandemic started, I was actually prepping for the season of 2020, and I stopped the whole thing because I was in my second year of my first degree, um, and I needed to come back home. I actually left the place that I was renting for uni like empty for the rest of the academic year. Came back here, and I was actually, I was still training, like beginning of lockdown and all that. And what people don't realize is when you start getting depressed, it's a slippery slope. It's once you like fall down, there is nothing, there is no one, no human power. You could you could have someone that you'll be the only person that you always listen to, and that person will be telling you like, come on, let's do something. I'll be with you if you want me to talk to you or just listen to you. And you just don't want to, because it's like you got a veil on, and it's like a tunnel vision, but the wrong one, because you don't see a way out. And I don't think people
Yeah.
realize this. I mean, I have talked about it on my social media because I'm very open about it. But it was really bad. It was getting to a point that I just didn't want it to be here anymore. And
That's
I was just kind of almost planning to just like, right, let's just, I don't know, end it, if you will, to not use other words. And it got to a point that I was like, if it wasn't for a few people that just kept checking on me, I probably would have done something stupid. And one of the hardest things that you can do when you're in that position is just ask for help, and then just be honest of where you actually at. And I just was like, right, when you go to a point, that's fast forward to the last year of uni, and I was like, right, I go a dissertation to finish writing, I go some exams coming up, this is my last year, and I just contacted all my teachers. I contacted the mental health people at uni, and I was like, this is my position, I need help. Um, and that's when, everyone is starting to like get involved, all my teachers. I got extensions, and I managed to graduate of my first degree while all of that was happening. And I
incredible.
got a 2, which in the real world means really nothing, what grades you get. But to get a 2-1 while all of that was happening, it was amazing to me. And I always joke, I'm like, had I not been trying to unalive myself, I will have probably graduated first class and everything. But you know, I managed to get out of there. I managed to ask for help, and I even got to vet school, which has been like one of my lifetime goals. While all of that was happening, but once I got to vet school, it was really hard because it was my second degree, and I have to self-fund the whole entire thing, rent, tuition fee, all of that. And that's the kind of job you shouldn't really have, a part-time job, because it's so hard and it's so busy that really you just don't have time for anything else. And I was really trying to force myself to not drop out of the place I was, you know, in terms of the gym. I was like, I can't stop enough because I don't want to go back to that place. And, it was hard to juggle even that, like just going to the gym. And I was just like, I don't know what I'm doing here. Like, I love this. I'm enjoying this in a way, but I'm still not in a good place. And one thing that my dissertation um, teacher told me when I was telling him about everything I was going through on the previous degree, he said to me like, look, no, there is no degree that is worth your mental health. So, I was just thinking like, right, let me finish this first year, go back home and take a break, because I've been at uni and away of home from home for like 4 years in a row. And I was
Yeah.
like, no, next stop. And I was like, right, I need a goal. I need somebody to help me, because if I don't have that goal and I don't have, you know, that support, I just know that I'm just gonna get lost again.
No, I mean, first of all, I just want to say that it is incredibly brave of you to be so open, because so many people struggle to talk about mental health
Yeah,
issues, and there's a massive drive now on trying to say to people that, look, hey, like if you're struggling, don't struggle alone. Like talk out. And something that you touched on there that I think is incredibly important, and I think a lot of people resonate with who are going through a difficult time, is that you feel so numb that somebody can say to you from the outside, oh, this is what you got to do, X, Y, Z, and things will change for you, and do all this and do all that, and have a more positive attitude, and get and do this and do this. But when you're in a position where you are truly suffering, right, from depression, you're truly suffering with your mental health, you're almost numb. And it's almost like you're stuck in just slumber, because there's no motivation to do anything, right? You're just disconnected really from reality. You're disconnected from happiness. And every day becomes a battle, to the point where it's not that you necessarily, I'm gonna be quite intense when I say this. It's not that
yeah,
necessarily I can imagine that is that you want to look, it's not that you necessarily want to take your life, let's say. It's just that you don't want to go on living a life like that, right? A lot of people will rather think, I just want to end things because I just can't take another day of going through where I'm just feeling numb, everything's grey, I'm feeling disconnected. And I mean, I think one thing that we can learn from what you've already told us is that you did speak out, you spoke to your like tutors, right, who are actually very understanding, right? They
yeah,
gave you extensions in that on your uni work and all this sort of stuff. You're in a situation where the degree that you're pursuing is very stressful, very high pressure. You're somebody who's, you're in the UK, so it's like a foreign country to you. It's your second country almost, right? You're
mm,
struggling financially to support that education, because we know that education is expensive right here.
oh,
And it's almost like you're in an overwhelming situation, right? And you're doing things, but you're feeling no connection to what you're doing. So I think you should be really, really proud of yourself coming out
yeah,
of that sort of situation, you know, achieving your degree. It's not really about the grade mark that you got. What it's about? It's about what you've accomplished. It's what you've accomplished in what I would presume would be one of the most difficult times and darkest times of your life. And, let me give you an insight to people watching this. Imagine you're going through this situation and you don't really have any family around you. You're in a foreign country. You're struggling financially. You're physically in the worst shape that you've been in, right? You're mentally at the worst state that you've been in. It takes a really strong human being, right, to crawl and pull themselves out of a dark situation like that. So I
yeah,
want to tell you straight up that, you know, I've got so much admiration and I've got so much
thank you.
respect for you for doing what you've done and getting for your degree, right? Getting that grade, right? Doing something positive, even though I know for a fact that you wouldn't have felt like doing that, right? Being open, getting some support, because like I say to you, it's something that a lot of people, they don't want to share. And even if people are saying to them, oh, do this and this and this, like it's not registering, because you're the one going through it. You're the one in that dark world Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I think that, I think it's only now that, or for the last 3, 4 years, I've been very open about, because I've been, suffering with depression, anxiety, and these kind of thoughts since I was like 8. And like, I remember like the most wild thing. I don't have good memories as a child, and the very few ones are very like, I was like, yeah, I can tell why you need therapy. I remember, my mom, my sister took me to the psychologist, because I was so depressed, at school, starting to get bullied. My dad passed away from cancer when I was 5.5. And I remember they took me, and, I basically said to God, like, I just want to die. Like, I just want to kill myself. And then obviously everything's private until your own life or other people's life are in danger. So I remember coming out of the room, and then he looked at them and they were like, well, she's just expressed to me that she wants to kill herself. And I just stared at like, oh no, I thought you were meant to say that. And ever since then, and I don't know if people know this, but the mental health side of things is a very touchy topic. It's very almost like taboo when it comes to South American people, Latin American people, because they're like, well, you got a roof over your head, you got this and that. Why are you like this? Why are you feeling like that? And I'm like, well, why will I come to you and tell you all these things when you're not seeing me or hearing me? So I might just as well just keep it to myself and then just keep going. And I had these thoughts, and I had this, try to attempt my life many times. And I don't tell them too much that, because it's kind of really hard to tell them that, because either I get cornered with questions, or they get like very, very concerned. And I'm like, I'm fine now. But if I tell you now, they're just going to be like, red alarms all the way. And when all of this was happening, like, I had friends who are, PTs, coaches themselves. And during the pandemic, they were all like doing free workouts, or they were doing workouts with their own clients. And they'll be like, I'm going to send you the link to this and you're going to join us today. And I'm like, okay, cool. Yeah, whatever. And then when all of this was happening, I also realized I don't think I'm a neurotypical person. I think I got ADHD, but I don't want to self-diagnose myself. I need somebody to do that. And it was, going to my GP and being like, listen, I haven't slept in the last 24 hours or 40 hours. I have slept 2 hours. I'm starting to get worried. I'm not feeling well. And he was like, oh, I don't want to send you anything yet because antidepressants are really bad. And I said, I know that, but I think I need something. I kept calling until he sent me something. And that's when I started like getting help and all that. And I say to him, like, I think I got this. And he was like, well, what are you gonna do with, if you got ADHD and you got autism, like, what are you gonna do with that diagnosis? I don't think you're gonna do anything. And I was like, maybe improve my quality of life. Like, I don't get it. All that happening, I found a different doctor. I got referred to this psychiatric UK. And then when it came to talking with an actual psychiatrist, the first thing she said to me after talking with her was like, we need to treat before we go into the ADHD, triage of medication and all this. We need to treat depression and anxiety properly, because it has never been treated properly. And
Yeah.
when I told her, when she asked me, when you try to take on your own life, what did you try to do? Which I'm not gonna say here. I told her, and then that's when I opened my eyes and I was like, oh, I tried to do that. And that's why I understand people that they're like, I just can't ask for help because I'm not gonna say what I've been trying to do or what I'm thinking of doing, because you almost feel like shame about it.
Yes.
And it was the first time also when I spoke to her that I felt seen, and I felt as an adult was listening to me, and that was actually helping me. And that was like, okay, we're in the right route. And I'm glad that, I stayed, because it got to a point I was like, either I get on with it and do it, or I stay and then ask for help, but ask for help properly this time.
No, I think
And
that's
that's why
fantastic advice.
people find it so hard to ask for help, because you feel shame about it when there shouldn't be shame about it, but you feel like that.
No, you're absolutely right, and I think this is really really important to touch on, is that when you're struggling with your mental health and you're going through a depressive situation, it's not that people mean bad, but outsiders who are not equipped with that, who don't understand it, who have never experienced it, they'll be like, why are you feeling this way? And almost belittles the situation because It's like, well, like you said, like you got a roof over your head, you got food on your table, you know, this and that. And it's kind of like they're not seeing life from your perspective, what you're going through. There's a disconnect. And the problem with that is that when somebody says that to you, if anything, it just pushes you further back into your shell and you don't want to share it because then you're thinking to yourself, well, I don't really want to tell anyone because, you know, I, every time that I do, I just kind of get slapped back down because it's like, well, why are you depressed? Rather than trying to understand, like, well, what's causing this? Right? What is really
Mm.
going on with you? So I'm really happy to hear that, even though obviously it's a difficult stage for you, that you got the help that you needed. And that's the key point here is that if you're going through this situation, you must seek professional help. It will make the world of difference. And like Laura said, is that spending time just talking with somebody who's not going to project at you, right? And who's not gonna, you know, like kind of like belittle your situation, is gonna try and understand the situation from your point of view, try and help you, you know, kind of like unmuddle your thoughts from what you're seeing life to be and what you're experiencing in life is incredibly powerful and pivotal in kind of beginning to break that habit. So if we talk about the journey that we were on and we started working together, so you're in a position, like I say, where you'd already put work into yourself, you started getting yourself into better shape, you started getting into routine, you reached out to me, and the whole point was that, like, you've seen the work that I've done, we have a good relationship, you know, and you want to do something really positive for yourself. And this is like all kind of linked into you, you know, at the end of your degree and everything like that. You know, on that journey that we were on, and obviously we're still on this, when did you start to really feel the difference? Because people don't realize that you don't just start. This is why I love this lifestyle, because it's something that it kind of creeps up on you, right? So when did you start to feel like, you know what, I'm in a better position, right? I'm feeling better in myself. You know, I'm feeling more motivated. Would you say it's when you started to see like your shape come through, or when you started to be in a more disciplined routine, right? Or when you started to you know, feel more in control? Like on that journey, when we're getting into the shape, but getting to basically great shape, right? And getting healthier, getting fitter, you know, working with a coach, like checking in with me every week, having support there whenever you need it day by day, right? You're seeing your body change, right? You're going to the gym, you've got a positive routine in place, you're kind of getting busy with positive action, even though at the beginning you don't feel like doing that. You said to yourself that, look, rather than focus on worry, let me focus on doing some work, right? Rather than focusing on the negatives, right? Let me put it into action positives, right?
Mm.
When did you start to feel the benefit and start to feel like, do you know what? I'm really starting to kind of like break that sort of darkness. This time I'm starting to see some light now come through, and I'm starting to now get motivated and feel kind of excited about where I am in life compared to where you were before. Like when do you think that kind of happened for you?
So I remember when we first started working together, because it was like my sort of first year of vet school, so it was the second degree, and I was, you know, trying to juggle so many things. And I remember like every check-in, like I will send you essays, and I'll write all of that. I'll be crying while I write all of that and, you know, email it to you. Because I'm like, I'm doing things, and I'm not in like, I'm in a better place than I was, you know, during the lockdown and all that. And I knew mentally I was in a much better place, but still I wasn't like there yet, if that makes any sense. And I think it was, you know, towards the end of last year that I started to see more shape come through, and I started to see like my consistency was paying off. Even though I was crying, sending you all the shake-ins, I was still doing whatever, like what I had to do. I'll just get on with it.
Yeah,
You know, and then I started to see like more and more, you know, definition, and I you know, leaps across like at the gym, like doing exercises and things. I noticed my strength was coming back, like I was training properly, and all of that. And I think it was when I came back home, and then I decided to take, you know, a break from uni, or from studying, I was like, I think I'm just, borderline burnout, because I remember telling you that on the final exams of anyone that knows medicine, human medicine, animal medicine, final exams are brutal and long, and I was falling asleep on those exams, and I was like, that's not good, that's not okay. And then I came back home and I was like, I think I need a break from uni. I need a break from studying and all that. And I decided to, completely come back home. And somebody told me about, and they were opening up a pure gym where I live, and they told me like, "Well, you qualify. Why don't you like apply for it?" And I was like, I don't know if they will hire me. Like, whatever, I'll give it a go. And I applied for it, and I got hired, and I was like, okay. And I started the job there, and I remember that I only promote that I was gonna start, that I was gonna work there like 2 days before they open or something like that. And people are telling me like, you left it too late. And I was like, who's gonna like hire me or like whatever. And then from like week one, from day one, I actually got really busy. And because I started working there and I was moving more, I was being busy, but good busy. That's when I think I started to feel like in a much better place, and I haven't even realized it. It was only like a few months ago that I realized that I accidentally stopped antidepressants, which I know you're not meant to stop them, out of nowhere. But I realized, and I started counting the months, and I was like, oh my God, I stopped them when I started working at Pure Gym. And I noticed that my mood was a lot better, that I was more, I don't know, more upbeat, that like the person that I used to pretend to be like way before the lockdown, I was actually being that person for real this time. And
Wow.
that's when I started seeing more progress, because there was less stress in my body, less pressure from uni and all that, from trying to finance things myself. And I think that's when my body was like relaxed and everything started to come through.
No, I think it's just incredible, and this is so important for people who are going through similar things or don't have an understanding of it. Is that it's really important to realize that you'll look at Laura's transformation, and I'll get it up now so you can see like and we'll go through it in a second. You you see an incredible transformation, right? Physically, but what people don't realize is that the mental transformation is even bigger. And when you look at a transformation like that, people automatically assume that you must have come to me, you must have been really motivated, it must have been raring to go. You must have been like, yes, I'm going to train, I'm going to get my diet. But it wasn't like that. It's kind of like, this is why I think these journeys are so important. I think one thing that a lot of people don't do in life, and they should do more of, is that it's almost like you've got to parent yourself. Do you know what I mean? It's like I would say this for people watching this. When you look at Laura's journey, and remember, everyone's journey is unique. So your journey is going to be different to other people's. That's the whole point of client cast. Because I'm sick and tired of people just seeing before and afters. I want them to get a real feel for how a person's got from that before and after. When you look at a journey like Laura's, and you would think that she'd been motivated every single week, and that's how she got the result. Actually, for 75% of that journey, would you agree with me and say that you literally dragged yourself through that journey? Like you made yourself go to the gym even when you didn't feel like doing it. You made yourself
Mm-hmm.
stick to the diet even when you didn't feel like doing it, right? You made yourself do the cardio even when you didn't feel like doing it. So even though you weren't motivated for any of these things, right? You're doing these things, right? You're keeping a routine, which when I say is a positive routine, not to be mixed up with I'm real positive. Look at the routine I'm doing. Isn't it amazing how I feel? What I mean by positive routine is that whatever it was, is that you were implementing positive actions on a regular basis, day in, day out, even though you weren't feeling really happy about it, even though you weren't feeling really motivated about it, right? You're dragging yourself through this routine. You're being disciplined. You're being dedicated. You're dragging yourself out the house, right? You're not allowing yourself to sit around. You're getting your meals in. You're pushing yourself to do cardio, and you're doing this week in and week out. And mentally, there's not a huge change. You're still feeling the same person, but now you're doing all this work, right? And just organically, it opens up opportunity for you, right? So that you go to Pure Gym, it's totally not in your plan. This is why I say you cannot plan life. What you can do is give every day your best, right? And have a
That
vision, have a goal. But when you start to work on yourself, right, and you start to focus on what you can do, you open up a whole bunch of opportunities. So you have this opportunity come up where now you're in a lot better shape. So obviously, we both know that if you'd walked into Pure Gym in the shape you began with me at, it's very unlikely they would have taken you serious. They would have been like, actually, if anything, you need a PT, right? So you've got yourself into a position where you're in that shape. And even though you haven't had the greatest journey in terms of being happy, being excited, being motivated, because you had done that work, regardless of how you felt emotionally, you've taken control of your day and you said that, look, whether I feel depressed or not, whether I feel motivated or not, whether I'm happy or not, right? I'm going to get this work done. And I think that's the most important thing with a coach, because also, you know that every single week you're going to be sending me pictures. Every single week, I'm going to want you to be accountable to go through how your week has gone, right? Because at the end of the day, you're on a journey with me to get into better shape, to get healthier, to get fitter, and to get in a good position. So where you've taken yourself through this and you haven't really been connected with it, you haven't really felt overly happy with it, right? It's led you down a path. And then all of a sudden comes along something that is totally not in your crosshair, right? In what you're targeting for in life, totally not in your sort of scope vision wise. But here you are, somebody who's in shape, and you're thinking, well, you know what? This is something that I do for a lifestyle. This is something that I've competed, right? It's something that I am passionate about. I do believe in. That's why no matter how I'm feeling, I'm doing what AFSA tells me to do. I'm working for it. I'm living that lifestyle. And it presents this opportunity where you are able to get this job in the gym, right? And that there then becomes a catalyst of the change. And like you say, it's not something that you're waking up. Am I still depressed today? Am I still depressed today? It kind of just fades away. You know, like where people say, I don't really know how I got depressed. I just found myself in this situation. The opposite can be said is that I don't know really when I lost my depression, but around that sort of time, I started to realize that, hang on, you know, I'm starting to feel like the old me, right? I'm starting to feel motivated. I'm starting to feel excited. I'm starting to feel like, I'm getting up and I've got a goal in my day. I've got a focus in my day. And I'm actually really happy to get after that, right? And this is the beautiful thing, because I think that helping people ultimately helps you, right? And having purpose is so powerful, right? In terms of bringing out an organic passion, right? And giving you making you feel some sort of real connection to your day and what you're doing. So you start this job in Pure Gym, and I can tell viewers from here, this is when, so Laura, up until where you see the start pictures that I posted, up until this point, she had made phenomenal progress, right? Week in, week out, she's checking in, she's getting everything done, right? Yes, she's not feeling overly motivated for it. Yes, she's not celebrating her progress. Yes, she's not overly happy, right? But she's getting the work done. And that's why I say to people, if you get the work done, right, no matter how you feel about it, you're going to move forward in life. And that's exactly what happened. Because if you'd stayed in the position and you actually connected with how you felt, you wouldn't have done fuck all, right? And you definitely wouldn't have created an opportunity to then start your own coaching, your own PT, right? Because you took yourself through that journey, regardless of how you felt, you opened this door up. And I can say that once that door got open, because I've known you a long time, I've been connected with you for all the stages that you've aforementioned. I feel at that stage you began to blossom like a flower, right? And it became okay. Do you know what? I'm really enjoying this. I noticed that there was like an eagerness in you now, right? To be like, now I want to set some goals. So here you've gone, a person just like Afsa, I want to get into better shape. I'm not in a good place mentally. I want to do something positive. And I know that if I carry on this negative situation, I'm going to get further out of shape. I'm going to get further unhealthier, further unfitter. And I know that going down that path is not going to be good for me. Even though I'm not motivated to take another path, I just know in my heart that I need to fucking do something. Because if I carry on going down this path, right, I'm going to be in a real negative situation, and I'm going to make life even harder for myself, even worse for myself. Turning that around, now here you are, you're in a gym, you're PTing people, and that's when I started to notice that real vigor from within you, where you're like, now I'm going to start setting some bigger, harder goals. And you talk to me about the prospect of, you know, really pushing you harder and doing a photo shoot. And just like you said, as Laura began to get more connected with the process, right, started to really enjoy what she's doing because she's realizing that, hang on, no, here's this opportunity now. I'm working, you know, in Pure Gym. I'm PTing people, right? I'm getting into better shape. I'm starting to really see changes. You know, that stress starts to drop, right? And you start to get motivated to go and work out. You start to get motivated to push yourself harder. You start to get motivated to push your diet further. You start to get motivated to push your cardio further. And then organically comes in the bigger goals. And your physique, absolutely, I saw a leap in progress because now where that mental switch was. And then you're in the gym. I mean, you're the one that reached out to me. Obviously, we're on a journey, we're talking every week. And I want to show people now like where you were at. But you are in the gym, like you're helping people, you're getting people into shape, and you make the decision to do a photo shoot, right? I'm just gonna get this picture up and I'll show people the sort of shape that you were in here. Get this up. And these are the sort of pictures that really people have been so surprised. I can't tell you the amount of feedback I've got on your every time I put you up on a story. So here you can see it's a radical, radical, radical difference, right? So
Yes.
different to where you were before. I mean, you look at the beginning pictures that I shared off you, right? You look at this here, the shape that you're in, show people again. And I'll get a side by side up now as well, so we can see that. And then we'll go through it. Okay. Because I just want you to look at it and I want to get your thoughts. So when you look at those, they're coming up now. I mean, how
Yeah.
does that make you feel looking at those? The woman on the left and the woman on the right. Yes, there's a massive physical difference. We can all see that. That's fucking obvious, right? Like you're leaner, your shape is better, obviously healthier, obviously fitter, obviously a hard body of work gone into that. But two different women in two different positions, in two different emotional states. One thinking to herself, you know what? I don't know if I can do another day in this life. The
Mm.
other one thinking to herself, I can't fucking wait to get up and do another day in this life. I can't wait to see what life brings. Right.
I used
And
to,
so when you're in the gym and all this is happening, what made you think and reach out and say, actually, do you know what? I want to take this up a level. I want to do a photo shoot. Now I want to set some hard goals.
I think you know, you mentioning about, you know, waking up in a different mentality. I remember I used to wake up like on the, you know, on the uh, left, and I used to remember I would wake up and I would wake up angry, and I would wake up like fuming and I'd be like God, why would you give me another day of life? Like I'll be like fuming, and I'm like, okay, well, whatever. Now, you know, it's so different because I woke up and I'm like, all right, what do I have to do today? And you know, most people and clients of mine and that, you know, they ask me like, how are you so motivated, you know, every day and all that. Now, I'm not. I'm not. No one is. You could have the most elite of athletes. They're not motivated every day. They're just simply disciplined. And the way you can bring discipline is by doing the things you don't want to do every day. And there is no
Yes.
way around it. And motivation, most of the time, if not always, comes from doing the things that you want to do or the things you have to do, and not the other way around. You just don't sit there and wait for it to happen, because otherwise you're never gonna move from that place. And I think like you say, like when I think it was over the last month or so, I just kept sending you like the check-ins and all that, and I kept taking progress pictures at the gym and videos and that. And I'm like, I have never seen myself. I think that what shocked me the most was that the weight I am right now, I never looked
Yeah.
this way. No definition, no like no nothing. And I'm like, you know, I sent you some comparison pictures. I think I was like, guess the weight. Like I'm the same weight on that picture, and you wouldn't have guessed at all. And I was like, should I do a photo shoot? And I remember telling you about it, and I was like, all right. And then I started looking at photographers. I remember a client of mine told me about, Karen, who did my boudoir photo shoot, and I never in my life thought about doing something like that. I've done fitness photo shoots before when I have been like stage, um, being ready and all that, but nothing like this before. And that's when I was like, do you think we should do a photo shoot, or is it too soon, or do we wait? Like, I kind of really like how I'm looking right now. I never saw myself looking this way on at this weight. Um, and I thought like, why not? Um, why not? Yeah.
No, absolutely. And I mean, on my side, that was a real breakthrough moment for me because you know what it is that going from a position where obviously when you're working with a coach, right, when you're working with someone like myself, how it works for people who don't know who are watching this is that I will set Laura a diet plan, a training plan, a cardio plan, and then she goes out there, she executes on that, and then on the weekend it's like a touch point where we kind of like discuss how the week has gone, right? What have been your wins? What have been your struggles? You know, what we need to do this week ahead to keep progress going. That's the whole point of a coach. You know, I'm not only there to like guide you and strategize for you, I'm there to support you. But
Mm.
up until that point, I was firmly in the driving seat, right? Saying that this is what we've got to do, what we've got to do. When you reached out to me, like when we're just conversating, you know, obviously through check-ins, and you said that, look, here I've got this goal. Nothing for me on a human level turns me on more, right? Because I was, you know, I'm the sort of person that believes I've got a motto, and that is how when it comes to life, how big can you dream and how hard are you willing to work? So when you started to say that, look, and you started to take control, you started to get a bit of authority over me. You started to get a bit dominant with me and say, hey, look, you know, this is what I want to do. I want to do this photo shoot. I was all over it. I thought, you know, this is really awesome. Not once did I push you back or say, nah, let's leave it. I thought, you know what? Fuck yes. Let's take this on. You know, because I knew that, hey, you know, here's a big spark on our journey, right? Where now you're feeling that, hey, I don't want to just do this. I really want to take control. I really want to see what I can do, right? Going for a photo shoot of a nature that you've never done before in a very different shape because you've typically done photo shoots when you've been like in very athletic shape, right? When you've been around contest sort of time. But this photo
Mhm.
shoot was all about just celebration of you really being happy with where you are physically, not because you're getting ready to step on stage, right? Not because you were planning to do a photo shoot, but because, and this is such a beautiful thing, it really is, because you were just happy with what, where you were. You're happy in your own skin and what you have produced. And I really love that because, you know, it's so honest and so true that for a majority of your journey, right, there was no real motivation. You're absolutely right that you discipline is doing the things that you don't want to do, but you know that you need to do to move you forward in life. Do you know what I mean? And that's what you've done for a
Yeah.
majority of it. So there was no connect, there was no goal. It's just like, do you know what? No matter how I'm feeling, I better get on and do this because I know for a fact that if I don't focus on my health, if I don't focus on my fitness, if I don't focus on my shape, then the alternative is a path I don't want to go down, right?
Yeah.
So even if I'm not feeling that happy, I'm going to do it. Then you get to a stage where you are looking at yourself after all that work, where I can imagine for most of the journey, you were just going robot mode, you know, getting in the gym, doing your work, not really buying too much into what you see in the mirror, not really buying too much into what you see in your pictures. Then you get to a stage where you're looking in the mirror and you're thinking, do you know what? I'm really fucking big, and not in a vanity way, and in an achievement way. Do you know what? Like, fucking hell, this work's paying off. I'm really happy with my shape set. I'm really happy with how I'm
Mm.
looking. I'm really happy with how I'm feeling, and I'm actually motivated. I want to do something about this. Like, do you know what? I don't want to just continue this. I actually want to take it up a level. I want to go and do a photo shoot. I want to put myself outside my comfort zone and do a photo shoot like
Yeah.
I've never done before, and really you know, appreciate this moment, because the photo shoot is more than you just getting some nice pictures, right? To celebrate your shape. The photo shoot is almost like a celebration of how your emotional state is and where you are in life, right? It's almost like, how can I say this? It's almost like a trophy, right, to yourself of, I fucking done this. I've actually got to
Yeah.
the other side. And I want to pull a picture up right now because I'm saving these shots, guys. I will post them on my transformation as we go along. So I'm waiting for Laura to send me back the proper edits. But I just want to show you guys because I'm even me when I
Can I
look at
just,
this. Go ahead.
say something? Uh, Remember when you said, like, mentioned about like me getting the job at Pure Gym and all that, and it wasn't my plans ever. I
Yeah.
remember when I got qualified like back in 2018, and I helped a few people for free because I just wanted experience and all that. And I remember doing it, and I was like, oh, I don't want to do this. I don't like this at all. And I just kept doing my, my uni and all that. And when it got time to be like, I think I need a rest. I think my body's not even telling me to take a break and rest, and my body is just literally forcing me. It's like, or you take a break and relax, or I'm gonna make you take a break for way longer than you want to, and probably not in a pretty way. And there is a phrase that I really, really love. In fact, it's, I think, my favorite phrase. My goal my entire life since I got memory is that I wanted to become a vet. Is the dream still there? 100%. Will I ever go back to it if I'm on the right position? Yeah, probably. However, life has taken me on a detour, if you will. And there is a phrase that I really love that says, we make plans and God laughs.
Oh yeah,
Because we
absolutely.
make all these plans, and God is looking like, whether you believe or not, or the universe, whatever it is that you believe on, but we make all these plans. It's like, right, we put timestamps, we put timelines, and be like, I need to be, graduated by this age. I never put a timeline on that, but I was like, since I got here, I was like, I need to get there. And that's all I ever had in my head was that. And then when it came to this, and I got the job, and I was like, oh, okay. And I started getting people, and I started getting people in classes and all that. And I'm like, people actually like me. And I was like, okay, let me just do this. It wasn't in my plans at all, ever. I was like, yes, I got the qualification, but doesn't mean I'm going to use it. And, here we are, basically.
Yes, it's really a beautiful story, and I honestly feel the beginning of the best chapter of your life. This is honestly how I feel because I'm fortunate that I get to speak to you in depth and really understand you as a person and what you're going through. And I feel like it's the start of a new chapter. And when you look at this, you know,
It's
these
just,
before and after here, it's like I can just feel, and I'm sure people who are looking at this can just feel the sense of empowerment that you've got there. And I can't explain enough that please don't look at this in a 2D fashion that you see here Laura's out of shape and here she's in stunning shape, right? It's more than that. It's the work that's gone behind that. It's the hurdles she's had to overcome to get to that. These end pictures are not just Laura, wanting to do a photo shoot. This is a celebration of that journey,
mm,
right? It means so much more that when Laura looks at these pictures, I know for a fact, and it's weird because this is something that you and I will be connected to the end of time, is that only you and I know what a celebration these pictures are of, the hurdles that you've had to come, the work that you put into yourself. Like when you look at these, for me as well, it's a flashback to check-in after check-in after check-in, where you weren't happy, where you weren't motivated, where you were just like a robot, just going through the motions, right? And that is what this is a celebration of. And I mean, can I ask you, like, looking at these pictures here, which are amazing, really it is
yeah.
the sense of achievement that you feel. Do you feel like it's a chapter closed and a new chapter opened?
Oh my God, yes. So, that picture on the left, and sometimes it makes me cry, but like happy tears, because I'm like, I can't
Amazing.
believe like how far I've come. Because I think you posted a reel the other day, and I didn't realize I was in the reel. I was looking at it, and I was like, there was the before video and then the after video, and I was like, oh my God, like you often don't realize how far you've come, and I'm very bad at giving myself credit, very, 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 very bad. I'm like, oh yeah, that's all right, but that's not good enough, or whatever. Whether I'm like, I did that. 100% I did that. Um, you know, it's just I look at it and I'm like, that person you see on the right, that person you're looking at it right now, is the person that I used to pretend, and not even in a good way, before. I'm like, yes, I'm happy. I'm totally loving life. Living here. At least I got my mom here in the UK with me, so that helps. But when I first came here, I was pretending that I was loving everything. That that, oh yeah, yeah, I'm going to the gym and everything is all good. And I used to compete, and I love competing, and all of that. But now I am being who I'm meant to be. And one thing I tell everyone that I ever met is like, you need to realize that you just don't have to be one thing in life. You can reinvent yourself so many times as you want to. There is no limit. And now I'm being who I always meant to be, or who I was pretending to be almost. And like truly, happiness doesn't mean that I don't get angry and sad other days, because people that think that once you heal or go to therapy and all that, then you're meant to be happy every day. And I was like, that's not how it works. You're a human. You're meant to feel all these emotions, and it's okay. Is what's not okay is staying on those emotions. Just need to keep on moving. And we never make any of these goals. It wasn't only until I started working at your gym end of last year that I say to you, I want to go back to competing, but I don't want to rush this. I'll say, I want to go back on a stage whenever the time is right, whenever you think you give me the green light, and be like, yep, we're ready to go back on a stage, and be like, amazing. And the photo shoot was only like 3 weeks ago that we booked it. Literally, it was out
Yeah.
of nowhere, because I was like, I'm looking really good. I want to celebrate myself. And I think on your app, I created a new look, and I say to you, okay, what do you want to call it? Like, I'm thinking new era. This is a whole new era for me. And one story that I've always been fascinated about, or a mythical story, is the phoenix, because of what the story behind is and what it means. And to me, it's a whole new era. I'm like so proud. I'm like, showing my pictures and all that. And I get people at the gym that follow me on my personal account, and they're like, you look so amazing. Like, I admire you so much. You're so confident and all that. And what's funny is, actually, for a split second, that morning of the shoot, on my way there, I was actually crying, because I was having a meltdown, and I was like, I'm so ugly and all this. And it got the time to do the photo shoot. I did have blind though, so that probably helped. Um, I did the photo shoot, and it was just like being the person that I always wanted to be, like so confident and natural on camera, that I'm like, should I have another change of career, or like what? Do you see what I mean? It's just like so good. I feel so good. I feel like
No,
genuinely I can say that I am happy,
it's beautiful. Such a beautiful story. I mean, I tell you something
because
now that
I tell you, when I contacted you and we started working together, was when I felt like I was sleeping away again. At uni, I was like, I don't understand. I'm doing what I always wanted to do, which is, becoming a vet surgeon, or trying to. And I'm like, I feel like my mental health is just like going away again. And for the first time, I was like scared, and I was like, I need help. I need somebody to be behind me, and then just tell me what to do, and I'll do it. But I'm scared to go back to that place. And it was the first time.
it is just a testimony to the incredible work that you've done. And I think,
Yeah.
you've got a right to cry happy tears, because you've accomplished so much in this transformation. And I always tell people this, that the journey starts once you're in the shape of your life. It's not getting there, right? I really mean that. Like, it's once you get in the shape of your life. And quite a few things I want to touch on is, first
Yeah.
of all, you know, the feeling of happiness and the feeling of freedom when you spent a long time putting a mask on, pretending to be happy, pretending to be this person, but deep down that it's almost like a fraud to yourself, right? That's not who you are. And then coming to a moment where you've been in such a dark situation, you've not been happy with yourself, you've not been happy with life, and then it kind of dawns on you that I'm fucking done it. I've got past it. I'm here,
Yeah.
and I'm who I'm meant to be, and I'm happy with who I am. And I'm excited about what life's got to offer. And I'm excited about what's ahead for me. And, you look back on that and you look at the body of work that you've done and you feel so accomplished because it's not, you haven't gone online and fucking like, it's not like buying a pair of trousers. You have to earn this
Yes.
fulfillment, right? And when you look back at it, you think of all the work that you put in, you think of all the times that you push yourself when you didn't want to, you think of all the times that you wanted to quit, but you haven't. And it fills you in such a way that nothing can, because you've really earned that happiness. Do you know what I mean? You've really built yourself, right? I tell people that if you truly dedicate yourself to this process, building a body is a side effect from building you, right? And you talk about emotions, and you're absolutely right, because some people misconstrue what I say. I think that when I say that you can't let emotions rule you, it doesn't mean that you be emotionless. What I mean by that is that emotions are like the palette which we give color to life with, right? It's what we experience life with, right? So you should feel every emotion that there is. But what you mustn't do is you mustn't let how you emotionally feel take control of your day, because that's when it gets dangerous. It's kind of weird, like whether I'm happy or sad, I do what I need to do that's going to move me forward. And it's like, you talk about this journey, how door after door's opened for you. So what started as I'm not really feeling too good with the way things are going in my life. I definitely need to reach out and get some external help. You and I connect. We get on this journey together. You're getting into shape. The first door opens where you're going to a job that is a complete contrast of the path that you were trying to walk down, right? So you're going for the veterinary route. This is where you put all your studying into. Definitely the stress and pressure of that with a component in your mental breakdown, without any doubt. And you would think that if you sacrificed your mental health, this is the truth. If you sacrificed your mental health, your physical health, your financial health, right, to pursue this veterinary work, most people would be convicted because I put too many hours in and I've given too much of myself to achieve that. But then an opportunity like that presents itself, and you're like, let me go with it. Whether you want to say God's guided you or the universe has guided you is up to your belief, right? But this path has opened up an opportunity. Then you're helping people and you're feeling so good within yourself because now you're busy doing so much positives. There's nothing, I know as a coach who coaches hundreds of people, I know that I get such a fulfillment in being able to help other people, right, achieve goals. So I know how it feels for you. And then you're going to do this photo shoot, which was impromptu. It wasn't like this was even in our crosshair. So again, it's another thing that came along that you weren't planning for. You get to this photo shoot, you have a bit of a breakdown the day before, or the morning before, should we say, when you're there, because it's overwhelming where you've actually got to. Then you go there and you're like, almost like it opens up another chapter for you because you're like, do you know what? I really enjoy this. I really liking this. I feel something within me that I've not really felt before. I feel so comfortable, right, in who I am and strong and empowered in who I am. And I think that there is a testimony to kind of like why these journeys are so incredible and why I know that no matter how many fucking reels I make, right, or how many before and afters I post, or how many insights to a client story that I post, that it doesn't even touch the tip of the iceberg of what's gone into it. Because here's been a truly transforming thing. I think it's so powerful that when I ask you like, where are you now in the chapter of life that you're in? And it's like a phoenix rising from the ashes, right?
Mm.
And it's kind of like you've gone through all this darkness and all this pressure, all this stress, all these tears, all this upset, all these moments of doubt, all these moments when you're sort of ending it all, right? To being where you are now. And it's a full circle. You've never been more motivated. You've never been happy within who you are. You've never felt so accomplished. Like you've never been in a position where you're kind of like, you're just excited for what life can bring. You don't even know what life's going to bring for you, but you're excited to give it your all. Do you know what I mean? And that's how life should be. If you're not to have an adventure in your lifetime, then when are you to have it? And when I say that to people, it's like I've sworn at them. oh, life ain't that easy. I didn't say life was easy. I didn't say you're meant
No.
to be happy all the time. I didn't say you're meant to be positive all the time. But I'm saying that if you can't have an adventure in the fucking time that you've got a short life, then when else are you going to do it when you're dead? It doesn't work like that, right? So it's like now you've gone through this and you've seen like how opportunities just prompted up for you. The excitement is like, I know where I'm going, but I don't know where I'm going. And that's the exciting part because I'm going to give every day my best. And what I want to ask you is this, because this is important for me as well, because for people watching this, I've not really asked Laura this because I'm just enjoying her photo shoot, right? And doing that work. But I mean, where is now you're in this sort of energy, now you're in this sort of mindset. Now you've really connected with who you really are. It's not like, oh, I'm back to what I was. It's like I've gone beyond that, Afsa. I'm the fucking most powerful, strongest version of me that I've ever been.
Mm.
So convicted and passionate about giving life my all because I don't know what it's going to hold, but I'm excited to see what it brings. Right? Because I'm rooted in myself. I know what I can do because I've overcome demons. I've conquered hurdles. Right? This year ahead,
Mm.
we like people watching this. I know this, this, okay? It's like a phoenix rising from the ashes. But where is your mind focus? What do you want to get out of this year? What are your goals?
I, like we were just saying, like everything, well, I'm a big believer that everything happens for a reason. Like, I was qualified as a PT and all that like back in 2018. But like I just say, I did nothing about it. I was just like, I'm busy with uni, I don't have time for this. And then Pure Gym was opening where I live. And somebody told me go apply. And I was like, okay, well, I'll give it a go, but I don't think they're gonna hire me. Then they hire me. And I kid you not, I was like, they're gonna hire me, but I'm gonna be the PT that's gonna be struggling for clients. And from day one, I'm like excited to get overwhelmed at some point because I'm like, oh, this is too many. Well, for me, it was like this is too many people. But I think what I want for the rest of the year, I just want to see how far can I take my body, physically and mentally. And like you just say, what people don't realize, and I just keep hammering into my clients as well, is like you need to understand that the way you look and the results of your physique will always be a byproduct of how you think and how you feel, because your body will always follow if your mind is in the right place. If your mind is not in the right place, your body will just it won't budge. It won't budge. But I just want to see how far I can go, and I want to continue growing this business, learning about coaching people, and I just want to see where I can take all of this. And because I never thought, I used to avoid people.
Mm.
Believe it or not, I'm an introvert person. So I'm like, I will avoid social gatherings and things like that. The fact that I'm teaching classes, I still go and hide on the staff room before every class to pass the little bit of anxiety. But I just can't believe, and they get here and they tell me, "Thank you so much for the class. The class was so good." And I'm like, "Was it? Okay, thank you." Like I never thought things like that, and now I'm enjoying like being around people and all that, and learning how to be an adult, if you will, as I always joke about it. But yeah, that's how I see the rest of the year going. I just want to see where we can take myself physically, mentally, because you can never stop growing mentally, and see where I can take my new business that I never thought I was going to have.
I love it. I love it because in literally the space of a year, not only has your body changed, your mindset's changed, your life has changed, your whole perspective and approach on life has changed, or your opportunities have changed. And you're absolutely right that, your physical state and your mental state are very linked. I don't understand why it's pushed that they're not, because what I tell people all the time is that when you are physically fit, you become mentally fit. When you're physically strong, you become mentally strong. When you're physically healthy, you become mentally healthy. And the reason for that is because whether you like it or not, you cannot fake getting into great shape. You can't do a crash week diet, three crash week diets, right? You
Living
can't,
up self
you know,
family.
you can't you can't fake it. You can't take a supplement for it. You have to put work in. And intrinsically, the work that you have to put in to change your body means that you need to be disciplined. It means you need to get in the habit of doing things, whether you feel like it or not, right? It means that, you have to start to fill your time with positive actions. And this is where the real wealth is contained. And like you say, that, you know, the adventurer life, right, is not based on the certainty. It's based on the uncertainty and what it can be. And you have, as a human being, you know, you have this body, you have this mind, you have this time, you have this day, right? And if you go into each and you try to explore it for as far as you can do, for as much as it can offer, right? You will never ever look back with regret. And if you look, they say the devil's in the details. If you've been watching this and you look at the little tells that Laura's giving you without even realizing, is that can't you see every step of the way? What's really brought so much wealth into Laura's life and so much prosperity is the fact that no matter, even though you've been facing depression for a majority of this journey and been in the darkness, on the flip side, you've kept pushing your comfort zones, right? And when you step outside that comfort zone, it is scary, right? It does feel uncomfortable, right? You do want to kind of go back, even if it's in a bad situation, you kind of want to go back to what you know. But there's a saying, isn't there? Nothing ventured, nothing gained. And when you start to step out in a comfort zone, you make it a habit that I'm going to do things that I'm not necessarily, you know, I don't feel comfortable with. And I don't feel excited for, and I'm nervous for, and I'm anxious for. But when you get in the habit of doing that, it builds up real self-confidence. That's what it does. It builds up real self-belief. Because I tell people that a lot of people misconstrue that you can watch a motivational video on YouTube or you can read a book and now you're going to feel confident. That's Think about it logically what I'm saying. How the fuck can you feel accomplished? How can you be confident? How can you have self-belief without conquering yourself? Right?
Yeah,
Without
those kind
conquering
of
your
those kind of
demons.
videos, those kind of videos will only motivate you if you while you're doing cardio or a workout. But after that, then what are you gonna do about it?
Yeah.
It's just and you know I think back and like you know way too many inner demons, way too many thoughts inside my head all the time running because my mind doesn't stop at all ever. And I think and I can sit down and think and be like, oh, I wish like all of those things didn't happen to me as a child. I wish none of that happened to me, and I wouldn't wish that on anyone, honestly. You know, and this is me. People think that, oh, you're too honest and you talk about it all the time. And I'm like, I do, because there are people that need to see that you can get it out of that dark place. But not only that, yes, I can sit down and be like, I wish that didn't happen to me as a child. I wish this and that. And at the same time, it's like it happened and I can wish that it didn't, but then who will I be today?
No, you're absolutely right.
If
And there's quite a famous, it's like saying that I can tell people is that they say the hero and the villain have the same starting story, and that is real bad, difficult times in their life. And the difference between the hero and the villain is that the hero will use that, what their darkness and the difficulty that they've been through, and then they say that I want to build myself beyond that. I want to build myself stronger so that I can help people, other people never face that, right? And the villain is the person that turns around and says, well, I've been through this. I hate the world for this, and I'm going to make people suffer for this, right? And you're absolutely right that, you know, all the things that you've been through, as negative as they've been, they're part of who you are. You know, it's part of your story. It's
yeah,
ultimately, whether you like it or not, it's what's led you down to the path that you're in. And I think that if you look at where you've got to now and what you've overcome and all the things that you didn't think that you could be doing, of what you're doing, you know, that first of all, you've taken yourself into fantastic shape. And even when you didn't think you could because you're slipping away. Second of all, you ended up in a job that you never thought you'd be in. Third of all, you're working with people and you're not you're an introvert, you're a social recluse. You never thought you'd be able to do this, and you are doing it. You're doing photo shoots that you never thought you'd feel comfortable doing, right? You're feeling a way that you're not feeling, and that's because you're embracing life, you're exploring life, you're giving it everything you can. And that's the key thing, and that's what's to be obtained on these journeys. And I know from my perspective, I am so excited. I I will tell viewers this, that I hope to work with you for many years ahead, because I just see you as a Pandora's box of potential. And the goal this year, from my perspective, is exactly that: to explore your body as far as we can do. you know, and I know that our goal right now is so exciting because we're going to take you on this lean gaining phase, which is something you've never really done. Now we've got you into shape. It's like, let's see what shape we can build. So keep you nice and tight, keep your flow there, keep your condition there, and slowly enhance, you know, like your glutes, your legs, right? Give you a little bit more in the upper body, and then that will automatically, organically lead to a potential prep, you know, take you through that, see how you look on stage. In between that journey, do photo shoots. That there is going to feed your client base. It's going to build your business. As you build your business, you're a smart girl. You can then look at other investment opportunities. The world has never looked so rich, right? In so many different ways. And I'm happy for you because,
Thank
you
you.
know, there's once upon a time when you were thinking, I don't even want to be here. Do you know what I mean? Now you've got every single reason to be here, and it's all because of you, the work that you've put into you. You have to face those demons. You have to come outside those comfort zones. So I'm just absolutely over the moon with the way things are gone and the where you are now. I just want you to know that it's been an absolute pleasure to work with you, to be a part of this journey. And I also want to say to you that I never have ever had any doubts in you. What I'm seeing now from you, I will tell you this on record today. I know there's so much more coming for you. I know that, right? Because I look at a human being who's incredibly capable. I look at a woman who's incredibly strong. I look at a woman who's overcome a lot of things that would break most people. And I look at a woman who's using her life out of the cycle of doing all that, right? Overcoming all that. I look at a woman who's giving back so much. And yes, your original intention, you know, I love animals. You love animals. The original intention was to give back to animals. But now you're in a situation where you are giving back, aren't you? But you're giving back to human beings who are struggling
Ugh.
and trying to find themselves and trying to get better themselves. Right. So it's a beautiful thing. And before we close this up, do you have any advice? Do you have any closing words for people out there who are looking to get on a similar journey? You know, people out there who are looking to turn their life around. Like, what would be your advice?
Ask for help. Um, Jump even if you're scared. Just go for it. The opportunities I've had in life, even when I wasn't in a good place, was because as scared as I was, or thinking that I wouldn't be able to, or why will they choose me, or what this, even having those thoughts, I will just go for it and be like, let me just try, let me apply for the job, let me apply for uni, let me go through this, and then just see what happens. And I'll just say, just go for it. Go for it. Ask for help
Beautiful.
if you need to.
That's
But
beautiful
yes,
advice. Completely agree. And don't I always say this, don't I? Don't hold yourself back. Don't hold yourself back in life. You know, you said something earlier, which is really important, and that is that you said that you can reinvent yourself continuously. And it's so true. As human beings, we tend to get fixated on what we think that we are and who that we know we are, right? They're two different things, right? The person that we think we are and who we know we are very different, right? And as a human being, you could live 10 lives minimum, and you still wouldn't be able to explore all the things you can do, right? So while you have this limited life, and I say to people, you don't actually have a life. You don't have a life. And people are like, what do you mean you don't have a life? I'm alive. What are you talking about? No, no, no. It's a temporary experience. It ends. You experience a life, right? So while you're experiencing this life, yes, it might be difficult. Yes, it might be a challenge. Yes, it might mean that you need to fucking work on yourself and get your act together and, you know, pull yourself away from distraction and drama. But you have to ask yourself this for yourself. What do I want to experience? Right? What do I want to get out of this life? And you might not know in the beginning, but if you don't put anything, any work or any effort or any sort of planning into that, you will never know. And that's the key thing. It's like what you said, don't hold yourself back. So what if you fall over? So what if you don't get that job? So what if you get that rejection? Why take it personally? Because if you don't try, you're never going to know what you're capable of. Never going to know what you do. I honestly
I
don't
try.
even see. Go ahead.
Sorry, I tried. This is for people. I tried 3, 4 times to get into vet school, and I got there at the end. So many people, so many jobs before I went to uni to my first degree. Nobody will hire me. No job, no matter what I was applying for, nobody will hire me. Everything happens for a reason. I'll just go for it. Oh, but what if I fail? And I was like, well, if you fail, then you'll know that that wasn't for you. Oh, but what if I do it wrong? Then you will learn that that's not the way to do it. You always get something out of everything. It's like the injury that I have. I learned to move better. So you need to
Yeah.
see, as bad as the situation is, there is always, and as cliche as it sounds, is always something good about it. Something good.
No, you're absolutely spot on. And I tell people this all the time myself. So I don't actually see any difference between failure and success. I'm honestly the same. So if I had success, I'm the exact same emotion as when I've had failure, because I just see it as part and parcel of my journey. When I get hit with failure, which happens many times because I'm somebody that will really put myself out there, like I will push myself to the maximum. When failure comes along to me, the best way I can explain to this, explain to people is like this: when I get hit with failure, right, on a goal that I'm trying to pursue, I just see it as something I can learn from. Literally, that's what I think. I think, okay, you've fallen over. What have we learned from this? What can we do? It doesn't stop me believing in myself. It doesn't stop me on my track. And the way I try to tell people is to look at it in a visual perspective. Let's say you're trying to climb a mountain, right? And you trip over. What are you going to do? Just lie on the floor and give up? You wouldn't fucking do that. No one would do that. You would get back up, you would dust yourself off, and you would take it step by step. The only way you can climb that mountain is doing it step by step. The only way you can live life is doing it day by day, right? And that's the
And
sort of thing. It's like if you think about logically, I tell people if you think logically what you're trying to program yourself, and you're trying to tell yourself that I got a goal, and unless I get there absolutely without any failure, I'm going to give up. You will never fucking get there. Do you know what I mean? If you say
if I,
to yourself that I've got to go ahead.
sorry, I'm taking over you, so sorry. I say if I was thinking that way, I will have, sorry, I will have stopped trying to get into vet school the first time I got declined.
Yeah.
I will have stopped trying. You know, I will tell people, you know, like, oh yeah, I'm gonna compete, and they will look at me and they're like, you know, people almost laugh in your face. Who gives a shit? Sorry, excuse my language, but who gives a shit? People will laugh, people will talk, but I always say, unless they put food on my table and pay the bills, their opinion is extremely irrelevant. It doesn't exist. It doesn't matter. I got laughed about when I got qualified as a PT years ago and I started promoting it. Somebody made a page about me, making fun of me.
Mm.
I guess who's laughing now?
Absolutely. This is it. This is it. And the difference between somebody who goes far in life and achieves success, the difference between somebody who doesn't is simply the one who doesn't quit. That's the truth. Like that's what I've learned. And I've explored many different arenas in life, many different paths, right? You know, and my honest understanding of how to achieve its success is you just don't quit, right? You just are stubborn about it. You just keep pushing on. So just couldn't agree with you more. And I want to say, it's been an absolute pleasure doing this with you, right? We
You,
definitely will do another one in like 6, 8 months' time, see where you're at, see how this phase has gone, you know, see where your business is doing then, see where your life is at. And, you know, just an incredible story. You know, I say to people all the time, real people, unreal results. It really is a real person and an unreal story. And thank you for sharing it.
thank you, thank you for everything.
Oh, more than welcome. So until next time, guys, another amazing, unreal story with this time Latina Lightning, Laura Hernandez, and her incredible transformation, which is so much more than just a woman getting into shape. It's a woman really discovering who she really was.